Hi everyone, Tom Larson here, technology trainer for Alcoa City Schools. Today's training is Google Workspace Power Tips. You'll see the shortened URL right there on your screen. If you go ahead and go to that web address, that'll get you into the slide deck, which is the place you want to go to access all the links and other resources that we've made available to you. Let's go ahead and get started. Google Slides building blocks. How we do that is by clicking on the Insert menu and we choose Building Blocks. You'll notice that same icon is located over here on the right. Building Blocks. Building blocks are pre-made assets that allow you to easily drop into your presentations. Once they're in, they can be customized and altered to meet your specific needs. So you can see we have lots of types of elements we can bring in for today's demo. We'll just go to quotes. You can basically see the styles here. All you have to do is click and drag and you brought it in. Now at this point you could change the picture there, change the color of the graphic, do a lot of things. But the draw to this workflow here is that you're not having to create everything from scratch. All right? That's a real time saver. You go ahead and get rid of that. All right? That is building blocks. And I'll close out of this. Speaker Spotlight. This is nice too. So if we go to our right buttons right here, go down to the very bottom, you'll see this option, Speaker Spotlight. When we click on it, what that's going to do, it's going to, by utilizing your computer's webcam, it will take your face and it will actually put it up there in the presentation as you are presenting. This is nice if you have a large group of people that you're presenting to, and some people might not be able to see your face clearly. Well, you can take advantage of that webcam and everyone will be able to. Here's how it works. You simply choose a style, all right, and then you position it where you want it to go, all right, and then we will go ahead and use the camera in the slideshow. So we'll choose this option, and here I am. And my audience now can see my presentation and they can also see me speaking. All right. Let me get out of that. There we are. That was Speaker Spotlight. One other power tip for Google Slides is the record button. So if you wanted to do a presentation, record it ahead of time and make it available for your students or fellow colleagues later on, just click the little record icon over here and we'll say record a new video. And you have some options here that you can play around with. You can change the picture-in-picture position. See how that moves it. You can put it right back where it was if you like. You can change the size here. Make it a little bit bigger or a little smaller. All right. We can turn on a little camera blur if we like. There's some other controls here as well. So basically we're just going to go ahead and start the recording, and then when it's finished you'll have the option of where to save it. I will say that these recordings can only go 30 minutes, so keep that in mind when you do these. All right, close out of this. All right, let's move on to the next skill. Google Docs voice typing. Let me go through here. 1, 2, 3. Here we are. Voice typing. To enable voice typing, all you need to do is decide where you want your insertion point to be. Wherever it's blinking, that's where your text will go. Come up to the Insert menu. Go to the Tools menu. Choose Voice Typing. Here it is. And then you simply click this icon to speak. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. And as you can see, we now have text on our document that I just voiced. Can make things a little easier for you. All right? Next skill. Let's look at Smart Chips. Click on the Insert menu and choose Smart Chips. We have many chips to choose from. I'll click the People option. Here's a few of my contacts. I'll simply add one of them. Let me add another one. All right. So now, if I was to share this document out with someone, you notice we have these chips here. These are miniature representatives of more information. So to get the more information, all you need to do is click on the chip, and it will show you, in this case, detailed information. That's how Smart Chips work. They're basically just mini versions of larger data. Okay? Let me get rid of all this because we are now going to Advanced Image Options. So we have to get a picture into our document. So let me do that now. I'll go to the Insert menu. I'll choose Image, and I'll find one on the web here. Let me do a search for a mountain stream. See what it comes up with. Here we are. We'll choose that and then Insert. Okay. To enable the image options, you must first select the image. I've done that here. And when you do, you're going to see this little floating toolbar. This is going to be your text wrapping controls. So one of the things a lot of people struggle with is placing their images exactly where they want to on the document. So a little tip here, if you choose the In Front of Text option and apply it to this graphic, what it's going to do is it's going to let you move this graphic around wherever you want to. You can see that. You can see the other option here behind the text that will actually let us put text over the top of it. Okay. We can go to our other options, which are available over here. That gives us the ability to recolor the picture if we want to. Make some fine-tune image adjustments there, and then provide some alt text. All right, let me get rid of that now. We also have building blocks. We mentioned that feature is available in Google Slides. We'll take a look and see what they're like here in Google Docs. We're going to go to the Insert menu and Building Blocks. You can see what some of these are. There are actually more than what we initially see. We'll choose the View More option. And look at all the different types of blocks we can bring in. These are great because we don't have to create them from scratch. Right? Just choose the style, and there it is. And then, of course, you can customize this later if you need to. All right. Finally, requesting approval. That's a big feature in Google Docs. Keeps a running log or an audit trail of your document. So if you have a supervisor whose authority is needed to approve a document, there's going to be a record created when you use this feature. How we get it to work is by going to the File menu, and then we choose Approvals. Click the Make a Request button. Go ahead and add your approvers. You can provide an option here, a message rather, and then a due date for the document. Right? You can see some other options here as well. When you're ready for them to provide your approval, click the Send Request button. It'll show up on their end. Once you've received the approval, that information will get back to you, and like I said before, you'll have a record of it. All right. That is approvals. Let's take a look at Google Sheets. This next feature is conditional formatting. All right, so you can see here I have my final grades, and they are, some of them are highlighted in red. That's to signify a very low score. That is a visual cue that is automatically applied if a grade falls below a certain threshold. For example, if I go ahead and I change this grade here to a, let's say, a 70, %. Looks like it's going to be okay. Let me change it to a 60. I think that's what we may have set the threshold to. There we go. All right. You can see it automatically changed to red. How we do that is by selecting our data first, and then we go to the Format menu, and we choose Conditional Formatting. I can see here we have this rule that shades the cell if the value of the cell is less than 70. If I click on it, you can see exactly what that looks like. It's going to apply to this range here, right? Format the cells if it's less than 70%. You can see we told it to shade it red. Well, if I wanted it shaded orange, you can see how that changes it, and we're done. All right, so if I want to get rid of this, I can delete the rule. Let's go ahead and start from scratch. Let me go ahead and first and select all the cells to which this conditional formatting will apply. Then I'll go to, once again, Format, Conditional Formatting. Here we are. All right, we're going to apply to a range, everything from C2 all the way down to, looks like C21. Format the cells. If it's less than, we'll say if it's less than 80%. Look at that, it did it automatically. We're going to change the color to right there. Click Done. There we are. Again, to see this in action, if I change this to 70%, automatically shades it for me. All right, that is conditional formatting. Let's take a look at data validation. Right here. So if you're sharing out a spreadsheet and you ask your users to input some data, you could actually, by using data validation, provide some choices that they have to pick from. All right, so this reduces the number of mistakes that can be made in a spreadsheet. This is what it looks like here. For the category section, you can see that we have different options here, red, blue, and green. And we can change these to be and say anything we want it to say. All right, so let me go ahead and I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to get rid of all the content here. Just get rid of these if I can. There we go. All right, so to get started with the data validation, click on the first cell, go to your data menu, and then choose data validation. Here it is. All right, we'll add a rule. All right, so then we're just going to fill in the blanks here. So these are categories. I'll call this hardware. I'll change that color here to that. We'll say audio. Okay, let's add another item here, furniture. Okay, and we'll do one more. Cables. Yellow. All right, we'll click done. All right, so now what you see when we click this, it's going to give us 4 options, and we can choose any one of these. Now what I'd like to do is apply this to all of my cells, so I'm going to copy this cell. Actually, I'll just click in the corner and drag down. That will autofill the rest of the cells. There we go. And then we can pick hardware, hardware. See how it works? Chair, that would be furniture. Makes it much easier for people to choose the right option. All right, let's continue. Protecting a range. So this feature will be good if you want to provide someone access to your spreadsheet, but you don't necessarily need them changing the data. All right. Here's an example of a spreadsheet that we can use that on. So let's say we didn't want people changing anything about the student ID column. All right, so I can select that. Then we'll go to Data, Protect Sheets and Ranges. All right, we have the range selected. Then we'll choose Set Permissions. Only I can edit this. And then we click Done. Or you could go ahead and designate specific people who would be able to edit those fields. When you're finished, just click Done. And that's it. All right, let's continue. Moving over to Gmail now. Let's talk about templates. So these are basically ready-made emails that can sort of sit in a queue, and then you can pull them up whenever you're ready to use them. It's a real handy time saver. Here's what they look like. All right. Canned responses. They used to be called canned responses. Now they're called templates. So you compose an email, and then you're going to go to More Options right here, and then you're going to find Templates. Now these are all the templates that I've created in the past. I have one for my Apple repairs, so I'll go ahead and choose that, and you can see what it does. All this information here would take me a while to fill in, but since I have this template, I don't have to do that. I can just change some of the data. It'll save me a little bit of time. All right, let me show you how to actually create a template. You click Compose, and basically you create an email, okay? All right, you can enter the information here, And then when you're ready to save it, you click on your three dots, go to templates, and then save this draft as a template. Choose the save as new template option. And then once you've done that, the name will appear in this list, and you can recall it whenever you need it. Okay? Next, set up a time to meet. This is what that's going to look like. It's actually built directly into Gmail now. Here's how we do that. Click the Compose button. And then we're going to choose this little icon right here. Set up a time to meet. I'm going to select this option here, propose times you're free. It will pull up a little miniaturized version of Google Calendar. We can expand this up. All right, set our duration, add a date, and then we can add it to the email when we're finished. See how that appears? At this point, all we would need to do is add our recipients and subject, and we could send it away. And when they click on one of these options, it will give them the opportunity to go ahead and add it to their calendar, and then it will appear on your calendar as well. Nice time saver there. And finally, in Gmail, we have the Request Read Receipt feature. Let's look at that and see how it works. We're going to go to Compose. Again, more options. And then we'll see the option to request a read receipt. This is going to provide you with the opportunity to learn whether or not your intended recipient has opened your message. We don't see anything here. There's no visual indicator that this is happening, but once you send it out, it will do that. And you will receive confirmation via email as to the status of your message that was sent, whether it's been opened and read. All right, let's talk about Google Keep next. This next feature is very handy. So if you have been tasked with putting information out there via any number of avenues. Maybe you're walking throughout the school and you can see information that has been taped to the walls, and you want to get that information and turn it into a digital format without having to retype everything. This next feature will really come in handy. It's called the Grab Image Text feature. So you're going to keep.google.com, and we'll go ahead and we'll take a new note here. And I'm going to call this note signage. All right, now I have three graphics that I have on our desktop. I took these a little bit ago. The way we get the image into our note is to click the Add Image option. Here they are. Let me choose this one. I'll click Open. All right, and it will bring in the image. It is part of my Keep note. Now let's say there was a lot more text on here. That would really save us some time of having to retype it. To turn this into editable text, what we do is we click the three dots here underneath More, and let me click it again here. For some reason it's not. Let me try it again. There we go. Sometimes it takes a few seconds for the Grab Image Text option to show up. It finally has. That means the information can now be extracted. We'll choose it, and here it is. At this point, you could select and copy it, or you could export the text directly to Google Docs. All right? Grab Image Text. Another thing you can do to help you organize your information is by applying a label. You can see I've got different labels here, lots of my notes. I basically categorized all of them. The way you do that is by adding a label. And so in this case, I have labels already created. You can see them listed over here. You just choose Change Label. You can choose a different one. If you haven't applied a label here, you could go add a new one. You just give the new label a name, and then it is applied. Then it will appear over here. On the left, if you need to edit the names of your labels, just click this little icon that says Edit Label. You can delete them, rename them, do what you need to. All right. Finally, we have reminders that is built into Google Tasks. I'm sorry, Google Keep now, and this will actually show up on your Google Calendar. So if we had something that we needed to do, let's say set up AV. I'm walking around campus. A supervisor approaches me, says, "Hey, can you set up AV in this room? We got a conference." I just pull up Google Keep on my phone and I can plug it in there quick. I'm going to say 1:00 p.m. in the boardroom. Help if we spell things correctly. There we go. Okay, at this point you click the little Remind Me button. Later today, when do I want to be reminded of this? Well, 1 p.m. I'll pick time and date. I'll give it a custom time, so I'll say 12:55 I want to be reminded. Okay, and then save. So then I should be reminded so I won't forget. And that's a newer feature that's built into Google Keep. Should make keeping your appointments a little bit easier, at least creating them, creating a digital record of them. Okay, Google Calendar. What you see here is an example of an appointment schedule that can be published, and the public can see this and then schedule appointments with you. It's very easy to do inside of Google Calendar. How this is done is by inside Google Calendar. On the left-hand side, you're going to see the option to create an appointment schedule. All right, it's also known as a booking page. So you just simply click the plus symbol right here. You set up your times when you are going to be available. Let me give it a name here. Boy, I'm having real trouble spelling today. Let's say we don't want to do it on Tuesday and not on Thursday. All right, that's what it'll look like. I'll click Next. There are some other options here. Give it a description as well. Once we save it, we can preview it. That's what it's going to look like on the public-facing side. And if we wanted to share that out to people, we'll simply copy the link, send it out via email, put it in our email signature. Can share it out a number of ways. Public just needs to have it, and once they do, they can schedule you. It's as easy as that. If you need to modify that appointment schedule, you just come back over here on the left-hand side, click it, and then you can see the little edit button. Then you can go in and make whatever changes you need. All right, searching for people and finding available time slots. Let me close out of this. Here's how that's done. So let's say I want to find a time to meet with a couple folks here. Okay. All right. Let me switch my view here to week. I can quickly see their schedules, and I can plan my proposed meeting time based on what I'm seeing on these calendars here. And if there are others you need to add, simply type their name in the list here. All right. Last thing I want to show you, how to import or export a calendar. It's in the settings area. This is useful if a user is moving out of the system, or maybe a coach has a schedule, a game schedule or practice schedule, and you need to quickly import that and get those events in Google Calendar. You can do it this way. Let me show you how it's done. Let me close out of this view here. Go to my month view. All right, so we would go to the gear icon in Google Calendar, which is Settings. We're looking for the Import and Export option. All right, so if this calendar was created in a different calendar, you could choose the Import button. Grab the exported calendar. It's usually going to be an iCal file, and then you can pull it in. And you choose what calendar you'd like to add it to. You also have the option to export any one of these calendars and once you do, other users will be able to import those calendars into their Google Calendar. All right, so all the import and export options are going to be right here inside of Settings. All right, real quickly now, we're going to finish up with some Google Chrome tips. The first one is tab groups. Tab groups. I've actually made use of those here today. You can see I've got several tab groups. When I click, there's all my tabs in order of my presentation. And they can be collapsed very easily by just clicking the tab. How we create tab groups is by clicking this icon here, tab groups, and we can create new ones. All right, you can see I only have the one tab group created so far, but you could have many if you like. All right, then we also have the Send to Device option. This is useful if you wanted to get a website from one device where you're signed in via Google to another device, maybe like your phone, which is signed into Google. Here's how you do that. Let me get out of here and go up. All right, so if I went to Wikipedia, let's go to this article here. If I wanted to share this out, I wanted to send it to my phone, what I would do is I would go to the dot menu here, Cast, Save, and Share, and then I would choose Send to Your Device. And it will show me all the devices I've signed into with my Google account. You can see I've also pinned that option up here on my toolbar. That makes it a little quicker. The way you do that is just by right-clicking in this area and choose Customize Toolbar, and then you can add whatever buttons you want on that menu. All right. Last thing with Google Chrome I'd like to show you is how to create a QR code Again, we're going to click the three dots, cast, save, and share, and there it is, create QR code. At this point, you can download it or you could copy it, the graphic, to some other application. But when people scan that with their phone, it will take them right here to this page. All right, that is it for today's training. We have a couple other resources here that we've posted at the very end of this presentation for you. Feel free to check those out. And if you did participate in this training, you've gone through all the slides, you've listened to me speak, you could consider yourself as having attended. And as that's the case, you would need a certificate of completion, a record that you have attended. So all you need to do is click on the graphic here. It'll take you to a Google form. Go ahead and fill that out. Today's training is Google Workspace Power Tips. Submit it. Make sure you add your name as you'd like it to appear on your certificate, and you'd have a PDF version of that certificate delivered to your inbox in about 10 or 15 seconds. All right, thanks for watching our presentation today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, tlarson@alcoaschools.net. Thanks for watching.